Hey everyone, do you see my screen right now, Nick? Okay. Just a little background information. Like I'm coming from the selling background. I'm an eight-figure seller veteran, and like part of my job is to oversee thousands of accounts, doing some analysis with the sellers, and like the number one issue with the sellers is revenue illusion. I won't call it as revenue illusion. Like with the Amazon, you know that like we're all sellers and we love to, have our revenue numbers go up. But when we look at the profit numbers, it's not the same because there are a lot of fees on Amazon. And like the last time that I looked, it was 90 different fees. And when I meet with the sellers, the first question that I ask, do you know what is, compensated clawback is? Like what is like the some of the fees that they never know, closing fees or low level inventory fee, like they're gonna pay, return fees. And most of the sellers do not know without selling Amazon. And the number one rule selling on Amazon is to know your numbers. And you got to know your numbers really well, even at the transaction level. I like to follow profitability at transaction level. I also like to follow the profitability at SKU level, and I also like to follow the profitability at account level. And you may also sell on Walmart. You may also sell in Target. You may also sell in Shopify. You got to know your profitability at these accounts as well. And uh, I'm gonna give you some, hard numbers that are coming with the, sellers that we are working with, who has the consent to data to be anonymized, and you can benchmark your marketplace with this. And I want to divide the marketplaces into one of them is wholesale business, and the other one is private label. And when we look at the data, if you're running a wholesale business on Amazon, your profitability, if your profitability is about 13%, you are doing great. And if your profitability is less than 13%, you are doing below average. And if you look at the costs involved, like 44% goes to cost of goods sold, and 40% goes to referral fee and FBA fulfillment fees. And as you can see, nothing much left after these old fees. And like I have seen some businesses, doing 20% if they have some exclusivity with the brands. But I have seen a lot of, brands doing, 8, 9, 10% profit margin. And the wholesale businesses are larger compared with, private label. You can scale pretty quick. And most of the time, when I see a wholesale business doing great, I suggest them to, create their brand and do some private label. And if you look at the private label, things are a little, complicated here, more fees, like the returns, inventory fees because your, items are not moving fast enough. Advertising fees because Amazon is not gonna let you sell without advertising. There's nothing you can do with the referral fees. And like FBA fulfillment fees are 18%, and your profit margins are 30%. And again, I have seen sellers doing 50% profit margin, but I also see, sellers doing 10%. And when we first start, selling on Amazon 8, 9 years ago, what I remember one of my friends telling me, if you purchase a product for $3, you gotta at least sell it for $12, 4 times of your cost of goods. But a lot of things changed in these 8 years, and as you can see, you should sell at least 6 or 7 times more of what you're selling, what you're purchasing. And there are also some fees, returns. There's one fee here, inventory fees, and the others, and more is coming. And how can I improve my profit margins? Like these are the numbers, as I mentioned, the average. You can benchmark your, marketplace, and after all, you can focus on how you can, increase your profit margin. And one of the way that most of the sellers that we are working to, after all these fees, promos, returns, referrals, fulfillment, shipping, advertising, and storage, they look at the profit margin for each SKU. You can look at this at the, parent ASIN level, and then they eliminate 20% of their worst performing items. I know that I also see with the private label sellers, they are emotionally attached to their, products, but the numbers never lie. If it is not working, it's not working. Get rid of 20% of the bottom and replace it with something that's going to work for you. And we're also doing some, analytics with the, lenders, buyers who are, purchasing Amazon businesses. And these are top 4 metrics that shows profitability without looking anything. If your ad reliance is 80%, I can tell you you're really profitable. The numbers tell if you're selling on Amazon and if you're selling 3 items, 2 items should be, organic. Again, I have seen brands with the 50% ad reliance that are profitable, but I haven't seen any brand that has ad reliance 70% or 80% that's not profitable. And the total A cost, 5% is a great number to achieve. I have seen brands with 3-4%. I also, see a lot of brands with 11%, 12%, but if you're going close to, 20%, it's high likely that your profit margin is around 10%. And one of the metric FBA fees over sales, this is pretty important. Do not sell heavy items that are cheap, because with the new fees and all the fees that Amazon has, you're gonna sell a little small items with, that are not cheap. And as I mentioned, it was 25% 5-6 years ago, but now it's 15% COGS over sales. And there's one underrated metric that I want to mention. This is one of the top report that I look at when someone want me to make analysis about their store. The return rates. Best sellers are the least returnees. Amazon decrease your visibility if your return rate is higher. And for the ones who doesn't know, they are coming up with the return rate fees. If your return rate is, above 1, your vertical, you're gonna pay for each return. Right now, you're only paying 20%. What I suggest is to look at, all the return rates, all the reasons for the returns, and try to eliminate. I bet if you, decrease your return rates 20 or 30%, you will see at least 10 or 15% revenue bump. And look for hero product. I call them as hero products. If you have, A cost around 10%, total A cost around 5%, ranking 4.4 or more. Again, if you are investing on an item that's 4.2, 4.1, I find it a little risky, and the return rate is between 0 and 1%, and the profit margin is 25%. You can sell thousands of products per month, if you focus on these items. And do not forget, most of the sellers are generating 80% of their profits from the 20% of their products, and it's really important to find out the hero products. And as other panelists mentioned, look for new marketplaces, look for new items, look for new verticals. It's really important nowadays to optimize your game, because the fees are coming and they are real. Get rid of the bottom 20%. I saw some sellers changing the design of their box so that they pay less FBA fees and advertise wisely. As I mentioned, if you spend 20% of your revenue to advertising, it's very less likely for you to be profitable. And this is again another number you can benchmark. If your sales, Walmart sales, is less than 15% of your Amazon sales, you are below the market range. And as you all mentioned, when I talk with sellers from US, I'm suggesting them to focus on the European and the UK marketplaces. The first thing is advertising fees are less, inventory fees are less, the continent is small, and the people are living packed. And this also reflect to the FBA fees, which are lesser. And when we do an analysis of the same brand in the North America versus EU UK is always profitable. But I know that it's difficult to penetrate the European and UK marketplaces because of the regulations. It's not as easy as selling in the US, but it really works. And like you can reach out to me directly from my email address, and we can do similar analysis if you want for your business as well. Thank you very much, Nick. I think that's all from me.